What is going on, everybody? My name is Conor Lawler. Welcome to another week of Movie Mondays. This is the Heroes for Hire podcast. We're back again talking all the week's movie news, entertainment news, and just generally having a bit of a chit-chat about everything to do with film. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Shaun Meehan. Shaun, how is it going?
I'm good, Conor. Today's a very special episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
Because it is our Kardashian special. Okay? So we've always mentioned the entertainment news.
I for sure was thinking you were going to say it's the 2-year anniversary, which it is.
It is. Oh, it is. But like, who gives a shit, you know?
But fuck that. What are they up to? Tell me, fill me in, Shaun.
Oh, I didn't actually think you'd ask for specifics.
You're the man on the ground outside their house with your finger in your ear. Well, Conor, I'm here on the scene. They are doing things.
They are living their lives by all accounts, but let's watch.
And fair play to them. I don't really want to disturb them, but fair play to you, gals. Make that money.
But yeah, this is actually our 2-year anniversary of doing the show.
Now, it was a weird scenario because 4 weeks ago we celebrated our 100 episode. So do you celebrate the 100 episode or 100 week or whatever, or do you celebrate the 2-year anniversary? I don't think anyone ever celebrates episode 104, so I think we kind of celebrated at 100. And even more sad is that sadly Ireland have introduced stricter lockdown rules recently in the last week and a half. So originally we were going to meet up for this episode because it was the 2-year
would have been beautiful. We had it all planned out, and we were going to have a great day. And then
we were going to have a great day, and then maybe at the end play a bit of PlayStation or Xbox, pass the time, maybe a bit of a hangout. Unfortunately,
like friends, yeah.
Unfortunately, Ireland has gotten a bit stricter on the lockdown rules, and so we are not allowed to travel to each other, which is kind of hindering the 2-year anniversary. But what can you do? We will wait this out and maybe reconvene at a later date.
Yeah, we'll do our traditional Christmas exchange of gifts. Hopefully we can do that together.
Oh, I don't want to do it separate.
Oh, we'll just have to fucking book a courier and just send them back and forth between our houses.
I'm going to stand outside your house and fuck the president through the window.
Just with a boombox, just in the rain.
I got you music.
I got you the gift of song.
The gift
Crash
of
through
rhythm.
the window.
So this is Movie Monday, Shaun, and enough about our 2-year duds. It is the 2-year anniversary, so we got to bring the same energy. Are we the same level as we were episode 1? I can only hope that we're slightly better.
Slightly. We're certainly older, so maybe that has some bearing on it.
Yeah, now we're more wise and willing to give more of our opinions.
Well, no one's saying that, are they?
No.
Like, we'll give opinions, but we're not wise about them.
No, they'll be uninformed and often wrong.
As God intended for opinions.
So we're starting this week with a piece of news that we kind of covered very, very roughly a few weeks ago, and that was from the DC fandom event that happened, and there was a lot of DC talk coming out from that. And one of the pieces was they asked one of the producers for the Flash movie, who would they like maybe a team up? They implied that maybe a team up would work in a Flash movie. This is the Flash movie that's going to happen with Ezra Miller in the next 10 to 15 years. I cannot assume when. But they were saying a team-up might be good. And now we have rumours, Shaun, that the Flash movie will feature Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman in the film itself. And this is very interesting, because the Flashpoint Paradox, which is what the comic arc that this movie is supposedly based on, when the whole story of the Flashpoint Paradox is Flash goes back in time to save his mom because of his mom dies, and he realizes like a simp. Ooh, saving my mom! Oh, get over it, mate. Learn some karate and become Batman. That's what I say.
That's a healthy coping mechanism.
Yeah, Batman seems really balanced. Follow his line, and I think
he might as well be called well-adjusted man.
So yeah, Flash, I think would be logical. Is you can turn back time, you immediately go back to try and save your map. in the process of saving her, he changes the whole timeline in the future, and when he comes back to the future, it's like a really bleak universe thing. And in that bleak universe, the Amazons and the Atlanteans are at war with each other in that universe. Which is where Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman would come into the story, I would assume. But this is pretty big news that Gal Gadot could be appearing in the Flash movie.
Yeah, and like, I like it because it means that they have plans for Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman down the road, which I feel with DC movies, you can never really latch on to a character because they might be replaced or just never discussed again.
True.
I'm still not sure that this Flash and this Wonder Woman are the best pairing.
No. That's because he's just weird.
Yeah, like his character, and look, we're basing all of this off of what we've seen of the Flash in Justice League.
That one movie, that it was the best Flash incarnation we've all seen, other than all of the episodes of the other Flash TV show.
Okay, there was that time that the Flash was in Suicide Squad for a second. That seemed pretty neat.
He was pretty good in those 4 seconds, yeah. Pretty good.
You give me a whole movie of that Flash?
Him just arriving into the bank late.
Oh, he's always late, even though he's quick.
Oh, what a classic.
But I'm from what we've seen in Justice League, his character seems to be just nervous and quippy. And I don't think you can do a whole movie around that. And I don't know how many interactions he's had with Wonder Woman.
He fell on top of her in Justice League. That was pretty funny.
That was hilarious.
Do you remember when that happened? Yeah, I actually didn't. I didn't really see that scene because I was laughing too hard at the concept.
Oh, like the tears did blur my vision. That's true.
Yeah. What's happening next? I can't see through the laughter.
So maybe that could be a way that, like, if it is Flashpoint and Wonder Woman is more of an... she's not even an antagonist, but she's fighting a war that Flash knows that there's a future that war doesn't exist. So if you have it that he gets to know this evil Wonder Woman, let's call her evil just for the sake of it,
okay,
and then he gets back to his own reality, and then he has a slightly different relationship with, you know, the main continuity Wonder Woman.
A less doughy-eyed, love-heart-eyes kind of relationship where he's just weird around this woman.
Yeah, like if he, like, first of all learned to, like, I think if they did do the Flashpoint, no, if he learned to talk, and if I learned to talk as well, that would also be good for this podcast. True. But if he first of all was maybe afraid of her because he sees her, you know, fight the Atlanteans and takes on like 50 of them at once and murders all of them. If he like has that fear build into respect, build into trust, and then he comes back with all that baggage, I think that's how you progress a relationship really quickly.
So you're thinking of character development, maybe putting layers upon the movies, making them ultimately more successful and interesting.
Yeah, and now that you say it,
sorry, what studio is this?
It's Warner Brothers. It's DC.
Right. And you're thinking that's what they're going to do.
I'm just saying that would be a good way to make a movie.
We live in hope. We do live in hope. This might be the one. But this movie is getting absolutely packed at the minute, because you have the Flash in it, obviously, but you also have Wonder Woman. It is rumoured that Cyborg, Ray Fisher, will be playing Cyborg in the movie. He's in negotiations to appear. You also have Michael Keaton returning as Batman. Ben Affleck will also be here as Batman. I don't know who's playing Thomas Wayne. I suppose it'd have to go same continuity from Batman vs Superman, or is that up in the air?
Yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be great at it, I think.
I think he would, and I think he was very excited to play that role. I think it was implied to him, you might have a big role in Flashpoint, because the Flashpoint storyline is from Flash saving his mother. The knock-on effect is that when Bruce leaves the theatre with his parents, Bruce is the one that dies, and then Thomas Wayne takes up the mantle of Batman.
And Martha Wayne takes up the mantle of Joker.
Yeah, and Thomas Wayne is way more brutal, like way more evil, because he's well-adjusted man too, and the two of them well-adjusted.
Well, actually, like Thomas Wayne, and they might like this in Warner Brothers, Thomas Wayne uses a gun.
They're like, who the fuck is Bruce? Why do we not just keep Thomas around? He seems more level-headed. Can he use a bazooka? Yes. Get him in.
Get him in. New continuity.
They're starting. They're the only continuity that don't have Bruce Wayne as the Batman. Thomas Wayne's fucking Batman.
But see, at least that would be accurate, you know? Like, imagine everything that Ben Affleck Batman does in Batman vs Superman and Justice League. If you just interchange Thomas Wayne with that character, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Makes way more sense. That's actually very true. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I was going to say to you, just in regards to with everybody in this movie, is this like a second chance Justice League kind of thing?
Yeah, it's kind of turning out that way, isn't it? Because it's the team-up movie, but it's actually motivated by plot and not ticket sales this time.
Interesting. That's an interesting concept once again. Let's go off character development and maybe interesting concepts instead of, wow, look at those things. They all have weird pictures already on files on Lex Luthor's laptop.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they all have someone designed logos for all of them.
Who did that? Who did they get in to do that?
If I could, be my usual Marvel shill and make a comparison to the Marvel movies, it's like Justice League that we got is Age of Ultron, and the Flashpoint movie has the potential to be the first Avengers movie.
Right, okay. Yeah, I think it could be good. The only issue is the movie itself has to be good. Like, the Flash character, I don't think has a lot of, momentum coming out of Justice League. I don't know if he was anyone's favourite part of that movie. So it would be hard to gather that momentum. But you have all these stars, and especially with Keaton coming back, I think there is a market there for it. You just have to make the right movie. It's very hard to fuck Flashpoint up. It's so good. It is the only thing that would fuck it up is that it might be time travel, as we all know, is just confusing. It can turn into very quickly just bollocks. Just very quickly it can turn into nonsense that doesn't make any sense. But you have a whole comic arc there that you could just copy and paste and hope for the best.
And the thing is, this is their reset button. Like, they cannot fuck up Flashpoint because then they have no other way of resetting that universe unless they do Crisis.
And they will in the next movie.
Straight away after Flashpoint.
Well, originally, I think Flashpoint wasn't meant to be the first Flash movie, but it was just like, fuck, we may do it now. Shit.
We need to backpedal real hard, guys.
Yeah, so Gal Gadot could be appearing in the Flash movie. That's probably why the producer was like, during fandom, oh, they'd be a great team-up. Like, of course, if they've already planned it, that would be a great way to kind of lay the groundwork for that. Yeah.
And look, they might be. They're both good actors.
Yeah, and if you get Cyborg in there, you should probably move. What a great part of that movie.
You should probably dig this grave by hand.
Good scene. It's a powerful one. I couldn't see it really through the tears again. We're moving on to our next piece of news, and that is involving Robert Downey Jr. and one of your favourite things in movies, Sherlock Holmes 2, slow motion fight scenes. And so
I do like those.
We have Robert Downey Jr. wants to spin Sherlock Holmes 3 into a new cinematic universe.
I saw this, and my immediate thought was, could they? Like,
could they?
Surely what he's establishing there is that he wants to make more Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yes.
Which I think is fine. I enjoy those movies. I think they're neat and interesting. I don't know how, like, is our universe and franchise becoming interchangeable?
Yes. I think a franchise I would consider... See, everybody wants to do a franchise. And then, to be more specific, everyone wants to do the MCU again. And so if you do a movie, you have to have a universe plan. Or first of all, you have to have a franchise plan, which is a trilogy, I can only assume. And then use the trilogy to build off into further spin-offs, creating a universe.
Yeah, which is, I think, one of the first kind of franchises to do this was... one of the biggest franchises ever is Star Wars, right?
I haven't heard of it.
Of course not. You're a Dune man, but in terms of franchises, absolutely massive. But then when they tried to turn it into a universe, like as in they market it as a universe, that's when the cracks start showing, and when they start slipping, and the audience reception falls off a cliff.
I think we've shown that the universe only works when you have a grand plan. Like, even a trilogy is so hard to do right. How many trilogies do you know that all three are as good as each other? There's very few.
Wait until National Treasure 3 comes out.
Sorry. All equally shit. Same level of shit the whole way through. So, that's fair enough. They're all the same level of quality. But very, very few are a trilogy of all 8 out of 10s. You might have the first 8 out of 10, second one might drop to a 6, third one might come back up to a 7 or whatever. That's normally the way in my head it works out. But I just think it's very hard to get them all to go perfectly. So if you think that as a franchise, never mind a universe. And so when you have a universe, you have at least 4 trilogies going at once, and you can't let the ball drop. Now, why Disney were allowed to do that is because they own everything. And so they have all of the money in the world, and they have every single thing on every single cinematic thing other than Sony and Warner Brothers, so they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts on this. One, I think it's really interesting, even that we're talking about it, but the way news articles have picked up this story, because it's Robert Downey Jr. wants to do another movie universe, which... If you had said that 5 years ago, it would be like, oh, that's the safest bet in the world. You know, he's a massive draw for crowds. But Dolittle also came out this year. And I
think that's in the top 10 movies this year.
That's because 11 movies were released this year.
And one of them was New Mutants, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just... What would a Sherlock Holmes universe offer? Other than more Sherlock Holmes stories, because everything outside of that is just life in, like, London.
Well, what they are hoping to do is a mystery verse, which is what they've called it. So they're hoping to do... It's not said if they're going to do other detectives. Maybe you could throw Knives Out into the mystery verse. We don't know, but I think it's a Sherlock Holmes 3, and then use that to create a whole new set of murder mystery movies. But I think Knives Out worked because there isn't a lot of murder mystery movies, and then the more of them you do, the less successful it will become.
Yeah, like it's like the way there's a bajillion episodes of Poirot and Murder, She Wrote and all this, and they're all good and they have their fans, but there's a reason those shows, we don't see a lot of them these days. You know, it's like,
because there were so many of them.
Yeah, and it's not that all the stories have been told, but it's just when you're watching a mystery be solved time after time after time, you lose some of the suspense of it, because it's always, oh, they'll figure it out at the end. And then I remember watching CSI on television, and like it would get to like 25 minutes past or whatever the hour, and I was like, yeah, this will be the murderer now. They'll talk to him for like 10 minutes or like 2 minutes, and then they'll come back to him later on, just at like 10 to. Exactly, it's a format. Like, and Knives Out kind of broke the format a little bit, because I don't want to say without spoiling stuff. Can I spoil Knives Out? I won't.
Don't spoil Knives Out. Knives Out is one of the best movies of last year.
It really is. It really is. So I think rather than, because as soon as you hinge it on Sherlock Holmes, like if it's just a Sherlock Holmes solving mysteries, just do a series of those movies and tell mystery stories. But once you turn it into just, here's Watson solving a mystery, and here's the Moriarty origin story. It kind of ruins the magic of like what made the first couple of those movies, in my opinion, quite good.
I think Downey Jr., he wants to do the third one anyway, but maybe if he gets a shared universe, he can kind of guest star in other people's movies. And I think that would be his dream, that he kind of comes in as Sherlock Holmes, but he's not the leading character in all these movies. Maybe something like that. But if the shared universe is there is precedence to say Downey Jr., if he's in a shared universe, it will make lots of money. But I don't know if those movies have such a massive fan base that they will warrant a whole universe based around them.
No, like, they barely warrant a third one. And I like the first two.
That's true.
But, like, the end of the second one, it's revealed that he didn't die. And so, where did the stakes go from there? Because he fell off a waterfall.
He could fall off 2 waterfalls. Maybe an even bigger waterfall.
I'm pretty sure there was a couple of waterfalls in there.
Yeah, it was like one of those where he fell and then he flowed in the stream for a little bit and then fell again.
Yeah, he fell, flowed, safety, fell again.
Perfect. Nice and calm waters. Here, oh no, again.
But the waterfalls were all in a mind fight he was having.
So there is news that Robert Downey Jr. is trying to get a Sherlock Holmes universe going. I think there are better properties to try and create a universe from.
Some kind of monster movie verse, maybe?
Even Knives Out. Even if Knives Out. Even if there was a Benoit Blanc movie universe, that would be okay.
That would be class. I think everyone who liked Knives Out would like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're moving on to our next piece of news, and this involves the Joker producer, Shaun. Now, Joker was one of the best movies of last year. You've said it, I've said it, everyone said it.
I think you said film history, but continue.
I did say film history. I said Todd Phillips, he's better than Stanley Kubrick. I did say that out loud. Now,
that's
I
your
might
chest
have
tattoo.
That's my chest tattoo. And my back tattoo. But it's spelled backwards on my back.
Just in case any mirrors are looking at you from behind.
So the Joker movie came out last year. It made over $1 billion. So they're obviously going to be doing a sequel to the Joker movie. But not only that, is that the Joker producer has suggested that a Mr. Freeze solo film might be the next in line. So that is producer Michael E. Uslan. He recently shared his idea for a film starring another popular Batman villain, Mr. Freeze. Shaun, this is a better idea, and tell me why.
Oh, this is like, if they give it the same kind of treatment, I think that would be quite interesting to see. And that's a character that is like separate from Batman. That character is interesting, you know.
Unlike the Joker.
Well, it's like the Joker has his moments, but like,
right, okay. But Mr. Freeze is, so his the great story about Mr. Freeze is that in the comic books in the 70s and 80s, he was just a guy who loved ice. Like, his whole thing is he just liked freezing things and nobody knew why. And then Batman the Animated Series came out, and there's a whole episode basically designed for Mr. Freeze, and they write a whole new backstory and a whole new origin, and they basically come up with the whole idea that his wife is sick, like really viciously sick, and he's a scientist, and the only way that he can save her is if he cryogenically freezes her until he has the antidote. So he's like, if I don't freeze you right now, you're going to die within, say, a month or 2 months. But I can freeze you. I'll figure out a cure, and then I'll unfreeze you, and then we can be together forever. And so his great sadness and his biggest failure is that he can never find that cure. Like, he's constantly striving for it, but she is just frozen. So he just has her there.
Yeah, he's too busy inventing ice-based gadgets and never works on a cure at all.
And he's normally robbing, like, diamonds and stuff to make money, to pay for more stuff, to try and find a cure.
Yeah, like, he's tragic when you see him. Now, have you seen the Harley Quinn animated version of Mr. Freeze?
I haven't, no.
Okay, well, without spoiling anything, he's very like the the Mr. Freeze from the original animated series, but he's a little more unhinged. Okay. As in, like, he's having full conversations with Nora and pretending she's replying.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to go about it.
Yeah, and so I feel like they'll lean more on that. Like, the mental stress that man is under would take a toll on him. Now,
I think this is a more interesting origin story than the Joker would be.
Yeah, now is it going to be that, like, is Todd Phillips going to write and direct it again, or?
I hope so, bring him in!
Nominated for Best Director that year.
Oh, don't get me started. Fuck's sake. No, but yeah, I think Mr. Freeze as just an idea. If you said there's a Mr. Freeze idea for a solo film and a Joker solo film idea, and I'd go, well, Mr. Freeze's, there's a lot more content to delve into with a Mr. Freeze movie than there's a Joker movie. A Joker movie, he's more interesting with just chaos. Whereas in Mr. Freeze, you have a 3-act structure there, you have his tragedy, you can have him even be an anti-hero, because in the comic books he's a little bit of an anti-hero, as it is. Joker's just a psychopath. But Mr. Freeze has that, like, even Batman in the comic books is always very much like, he values Mr. Freeze's brain. Like, he understands that, like, you're a genius, you're just driving all of your efforts into the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's like, and take a drink, because we always mention this, Mr. Freeze in the Arkham games.
There you go.
Like, he's actively like, I need Mr. Freeze's help on this, because he's a genius. But he's also a loose cannon, because if you even look at Nora the wrong way, he might kill you. Yeah, now when do you, like, set this film? You know, because Joker's say was set in the 80s, but I don't think they had cryogenic technology to the level that Mr. Freeze has. I don't think that was around in the 80s. And are these connected? Is the Joker movie connected to the Freeze movie? And I can only assume it'll be called Freeze.
I can only assume. I would see at the start. Do you remember at the very start of the Joker idea? The idea was that they were going to do like an Elseworlds universe that wasn't going to be connected to the DC universe itself. So that's why Joker is his own separate thing. And the idea was that they were going to have like Elseworlds movies. So they were just going to have Joker as its own thing, and then you could do separate layout or spin-offs of that where you just concentrate on one character that wouldn't normally get that kind of focus. I think this is along those lines. They kind of moved away from that recently with Joker 2 and 3 coming out. But if they stick to the Elseworlds idea, I think Mr. Freeze is the best one to go to. I think they have an interesting Batman Beyond episode where he comes back, like, he freezes himself and he comes back alive in like 2040, and he has to live with the fact that Nora was cured while he was frozen, and then she went off and remarried somebody else, and while he's walking around, they're like, oh, we've cured you, like, you no longer feel cold and whatever. Yeah. And then while he's walking along, he suddenly starts feeling like so cold, but it's snowing. Or sorry, so warm. It's snowing, and he's like, it's too warm, I need to get my suit. So the effects start to wear off. And he's walking through the streets, and like people are like spitting at him because they remember, oh, you killed my uncle. In like 30 years ago, you killed my uncle. He's like, I'm a changed man. I'm different. Like, no, you're a piece of shit. So that could be an interesting way to go about it as well. Just something with his tragedy would be really interesting to watch on screen, done right, and not Arnie.
Yeah, because that's the last kind of big budget view of Mr. Freeze that a lot of people have had, is the maniac who likes puns.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
An asteroid. Oh, fuck.
Batman's like, oh, shit. You're like, oh, damn, I always messed that one up. You always ask me that.
Every time I meet him. No, I like this. I like this idea for a movie. I think give us that before Joker 2.
Yes, I agree. Okay, we're moving on to our next bit of news, and this is Marvel news, Shaun. This is Natalie Portman, and so they are doing the next Thor movie is going to be called Thor: Love and Thunder. Have you heard of it, Shaun?
I've heard a little bit of something about it, yes.
from it following Thor Ragnarok, they've got Taika Waititi back involved. He is going to be doing the next film, which everyone's very excited about. But more importantly, they've brought Jane Foster, or Natalie Portman's character, back into the fold. So she was last seen, I think, in the Dark World.
Well, she was last seen in Endgame.
Oh, was she? What was she in Endgame?
She was Jane Foster in Endgame when Thor and Rocket go to Asgard in the past. She's in that.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, she was in Endgame a little bit, but more importantly, she's going to be coming back into Thor Love and Thunder, and even more interestingly is that she will be playing Jane Foster, Lady Thor, or the Mighty Thor. So, Shaun, can you tell me anything about Jane Foster in the comic books? Because I have what Natalie Portman said. She might have revealed a bit of a spoiler to the movie itself.
Okay, so in the comics, in the Mighty Thor comics, basically, our Thor, regular Thor, loses his powers because he's unworthy. Okay, so here's the thing. There was a guy called Gore the God Butcher, right? And
yes.
And he was fighting Thor, and he said, he told Thor, all of the gods are unworthy because you're all assholes and you just cause hassle for people. And so then, later on, in an event called Original Sin, where Nick Fury learned a bunch of secrets about everyone and started revealing them, Nick Fury and Thor were grappling, and Fury just whispered in Thor's ear, Gore was right. And Thor immediately drops Mjolnir because he can't carry it anymore because he's unworthy. So then, it's like heartbreaking to watch, and I hope that doesn't happen to Thor in the MCU because he's been through a lot recently, man.
He has done a lot of bad. No, a lot of bad things have happened to him.
Yeah, and so then Thor operates then as a guy called Odin's son. So he's the same. He still has like godly powers, but he uses a big axe instead of Mjolnir, which conveniently he has now. And he also rides around on a big chariot. Conveniently, yes. And so
yes,
all this comes down to someone else begins operating as Thor, and no one knows who it is, but they just know it's a female Thor. That's weird. Until the end of one of the comics, then we come back and female Thor goes into a hospital room, lies down in the bed, puts down the hammer, and it's revealed to be Jane Foster, who's suffering from some form of cancer at the time. But she is deemed worthy, and so she's able to transform into Thor and not be affected by the sickness and everything like this.
Yeah, and that's exactly along the lines of what Natalie Portman has kind of revealed. So she says, I can't tell you much, obviously. I'm really excited. I'm starting to train. If there can be all these female superheroes, the more of them there are, the better it is. I'm trying to think. It's based on the graphic novel of the Mighty Thor. She's going through cancer treatment and is a superhero on the side. So, in the Marvel comics, as you said, Jane Foster becomes Thor while in the midst of receiving treatment for breast cancer. The power of Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, restores her strength, which she uses to become a superhero in Thor's absence. But its magic also stops her cancer treatment from working. So that kind of puts her in a really shit position, as the longer she is Thor, the more likely she is to die.
Yeah.
So she operates as the Mighty Thor for several years, but was ultimately told that continuing to do so might kill her. And so that was kind of... It's been heavily rumoured that was going to be along the storylines to bring her into this movie, and she's basically come out and said it straight away. That is what her character is going through in the film, and that could be where they're going with this film.
Yeah, and like, I think they're right to get out ahead of it, because all is going to happen is that a photo will leak of her on set wearing a Thor costume, and people will find out anyway. I think if you have, like, I think just getting out in front of it is the best way to cover that story, and then at least you control what people know about it.
And that's a really interesting concept for a hero. Like, you can be healed, but like her need to help outweighs her need to, like, oh, I can heal myself. Like, I can go get medicine, but there's people out there that need me, and I need to be there for them.
Yeah, and like, maybe that's a lot of what makes her worthy, is that she's so willing to do whatever it takes for everyone else. I don't know.
And do you like Natalie Portman coming back in this role? Do you think that she might be good? I know Natalie Portman's a great actress, but I would say in the Thor movies, they're not probably her finest performances. But as that character, would you like to see her coming back and she's going to take a bigger step or a bigger role in this film?
Yeah, I think it would be a cool, like, acknowledgement, maybe, of those movies, which aren't the most well-received Marvel movies. And by and large, that's not what she signed on for.
No.
She actually didn't sign on to be a damsel in distress kind of figure, but that's what those movies turned her into. So I think giving her the opportunity to be literal god Thor is very cool. I like her as in those movies as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's very hard for Natalie Portman to be put in a bad performance. I think she's just written not very well. Also, I'm very much looking forward to a scene where Tessa Thompson and Natalie Portman fuck some shit up. That could be really cool.
Oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen.
And also Taika Waititi and Christian Bale. Christian Bale is down as the movie's villain, so I think he'll be a great villain. I think this movie could be really good with everything that's coming out for it. The fact that, like, Chris Hemsworth, his greatest strength, we found out, is that he works well with other people. Like, if he's by himself, he's okay, but, like, his acting chops come out when he's bouncing off somebody else in the scene, whether it be Tessa Thompson or the Hulk or Taika Waititi as Korg. Like, he's very funny and he's very likeable when he's with other people. And the problem was with the Dark World was he was always by himself, and so he's just kind of being sad.
Yeah, and so
I don't think that's
like,
as fun.
No, I think Taika really like knew that, like, oh no, just let him run for a while. Just let him loose, and then let him improv, do whatever he wants, and then pick the story out of it. Don't just say, now, Chris, do your line. Now, do it. Go.
Yeah. And also, if he improvs, he's amazing.
Oh, he's a genius. Like, he has amazing comic timing as well, it turns out. I think this Thor movie has a lot of good faith going in. I think Ragnarok had a lot of... It didn't have the two movies behind it being like, oh, this one will clearly be great.
Yeah.
Because the Thor movies declined in quality, in the order that they came out.
And Ragnarok was so good that that's one of the weird trilogies where the third one is the best one.
Yeah, so now it's kind of all to lose on the fourth one, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I just think it's very interesting. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Lady Thor. I think she's going to kick ass in that role, and I'm really excited to see how Chris Hemsworth evolves in that world, because I just think they're going to be a great, like, team or a team up or whatever. And I don't want him to get too sad. As you said, he's been through a lot, but maybe a little sadness. Bring in Lady Thor. He comes in at the end, maybe. Yeah,
like, if we chart Thor's, like, learning, it's like he was trying to learn to be king of Asgard, and then he failed at that. And then now he's trying to learn who he is. And I think at some point in this movie, he's just going to say, look, I'm Odin's son. That's what I am. I'm happy with that. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on to our next piece of news, and this is kind of sad news at Warner Brothers, Shaun. So, the DCEU have been moving a lot of movies back. There's been a lot of movies postponed recently due to the whole... a global bastard? Is that what's being called these days, Shaun?
I wouldn't use such coarse language myself, but yes, Connor.
The global fucking dickhead. But they've been putting a lot of movies back, and a lot of movies have, say, lost a year or two. Sadly, the Batman has been pushed back a year as well, so I'm kind of devastated by that. But most importantly is that The Rock's Black Adam has been delayed indefinitely at Warner Brothers. So they have not put out a new date for this movie, which just seems a bit weird.
It does. Now, maybe this is the first sign of, like, oh, no, this is a bigger discussion, alright, but no one knows how long this is going to go on for, so let's not keep promising things at the minute, you know?
Don't pull a James Bond.
Don't pull a James Bond. That was the only thing getting us through this year, Connor. And now it's gone.
It's coming up. I'm so excited, Shaun. I kept saying to you every week.
Every week you said, if only there was more time for No Time to Die.
If only I only had 2 hours to watch that movie again. If I could go back in time, I'd watch Spectre 3 more times.
Oh, you wouldn't stop 9/11?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking hell.
I mean, you said it, come on.
Oh yeah, that was on me, sorry, you're right. But yeah, they have taken Black Adam completely off the schedule. So maybe it could be as simple as, like we had news a few weeks ago that Aldous Hodge was cast as Hawkman. So I don't know if they're going to be pulling the plug on the project, but this is a very strange thing. It could be as simple as maybe Warner Brothers are doing a good thing and not releasing the release date of this movie just yet until they figure out the rest of their schedule.
Yeah, like all we've seen of Black Adam is like the animated teaser that we kind of got. And so, like, no one has been on set yet. They probably haven't even put a crew together. Like, I think a lot of them...
They have the crew together, but I don't know if they have started filming.
Right. I think you're only putting more pressure on the movie Black Adam then at that point to perform well whenever it comes out. Because you don't want it to turn into a New Mutant scenario where it's like, oh, it's been in development hell for months.
You don't want development hell. Nobody wants that.
So as long as there's no like deadline, they can work away at it and it'll take however long it takes.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting looking at the release dates, that it was just like, oh, that's there. There's no Black Adam. It's just vanished completely. And I was like, did they pull the plug? Did they just get rid of the whole thing? But I think it's too far gone that you've already signed up The Rock. You can't pull the plug at this stage.
Yeah, like you can't have that animated teaser being the only thing we ever see of that movie at this point.
It's a good teaser. Great
film, teaser, mate.
Fair. Okay, we're going to move on to our next piece of news, and this is more Gal Gadot news, Shaun. And that is that she is set to star in a Cleopatra movie directed by Wonder Woman's Patty Jenkins.
Sounds pretty good.
So Gal Gadot will star in a new biographical drama about Cleopatra directed by Patty Jenkins, and so this would be the 4th time they'll work together if they do a trilogy of Wonder Woman films, because Patty Jenkins is down to do all 3 of them as well. And so if they come back, is this a good movie? Will people go see a Cleopatra movie, Shaun?
Look, let me think for a second. I like everyone involved. I'll say that much.
Okay.
Ancient Egypt is pretty cool. I don't know. Does it like it? It'll probably be fine. I've not gone to a lot of movies about a lot of things. Is my
true.
issue, you know?
Yeah.
So, and this, I don't know that I would. I don't know that I'd watch it. I might. Oh.
I've never seen you struggle this much, because it's weird, because they're such a good team, and Paramount apparently has been trying to get another film about the iconic Egyptian queen off the ground for many years.
When you say another film, what was the other one?
Because 1964's Cleopatra with Elizabeth
it's a
Taylor.
remake.
It's a remake. The film won 4 Academy Awards apparently, Shaun.
Oh, fucking hell, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
So they've been trying to get this off the ground for many weeks, or many years I should say, and they also say, according to Deadline, the deal is a major coup for Paramount Pictures, getting Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins to team up again, which I think that is a team that you would want. There's a lot of studios that would be very happy to have that double act. Like, that's very similar to what we were talking about, Hemsworth and Taika Waititi. If you can double up with them two, they're kind of the DC equivalent of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm still conflicted about this because I don't know that I care about a Cleopatra movie.
But do you think anyone would?
See, I think there's a market for that, and like I'm all for telling a good story. I just don't know. are historical biopics, forgive the joke, but are they historically good audience performers?
No, I think they are. I suppose it depends on who it's about. Like
Gandhi did really well.
Yeah, I think any actor that takes up somebody normally gets an Oscar. If it's somebody that, like, they had to put on makeup or, like, a fat suit or something like that. Whereas with Cleopatra, I think it's slightly different because it's not like you're doing something in the last 100 years or even the last 50 years where you can kind of dress up with someone. Like Winston Churchill in Finest Hour, which is like, you win a load of awards, looks real good. But I think Cleopatra is kind of different in that regard because you don't have to be that historically accurate to do a Cleopatra movie.
Yeah, and there was some weird fact, and it was like the amount of time between the pyramids being built and Cleopatra is the same as the time between Cleopatra and now. Now that has no bearing on the conversation. I just think that's interesting.
Do you think that'll be the opening line of the movie?
Well, this movie probably won't come out for a couple of years, so that fact will be invalid.
No, it'll open with that line and then the follow-up will just say, actually, no, that was true in 2020, but now that's invalid. So, just discount out last time.
On with the show!
On with the show, sorry! Please, continue! I'm interested to see what Patty Jenkins does with something other than Wonder Woman. And I think she could do a really cool movie. I think there's a cool way you could do this, but there's also a very easy way that this could be bad. It's kind of, it's on edge at the minute. You probably wouldn't know until the first trailer drops to see what kind of tone they're trying to go with.
Yeah, like, is it a Gods of Egypt? Or is it more of a good movie?
Or any other movie that's even better than Gods of Egypt.
It's a short list, I grant you.
Yes, no, yes. We're moving on to our next piece of news, and this is Johnny Depp related, Shaun. Now, this is only a small one, but I wanted to throw it in before our big news of the week, because I think it's funny. Johnny Depp has come out this week, and he gave an interview, and he said that he turned Captain Jack way up after Disney bosses warned him to bring it down.
Oh, so that's how that happened.
That's how that happened. So you said to me you love specifically all of the Pirates of the Caribbeans after 1. You said they're all way better than 1. 1 is shit. Is that what you said?
I said I like the first 3 quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and 4 and 5 even more.
Oh no, I'm being misquoted.
And so Johnny Depp came out last week, or during the week, and he said that they had to talk to a few studio executives after the first one. And he said they were nervous. They were afraid no one would understand the word Captain Jack said. I got calls from them asking, is he drunk? Are you drunk? What's the thing with his hands? I wasn't discouraged in the slightest. It fuels me. I know that if they're worried, I'm doing my job. When they asked me to bring it down, I turned it way up.
So that's... Look, that's... I don't think that's how you should respond to direction as an actor.
True, but I think it worked for the first one.
Yeah, but did he say he took this attitude on the first one or the 5th one where Jack Sparrow is the most Jack Sparrow man I've ever seen?
I think it's the first one, but I think it works on the first one. This tactic that he's applied here. But by the 5th one, I think maybe tone it down, listen to them slightly. I
think by the 5th one, he's a cartoon. Whereas in the first one, he was just kind of a mad dude.
He was just mental, but also he wasn't like the luckiest human being on the planet where he's strapped to a pole and somehow it falls 500 feet and he lands in between 2 pieces of land hanging over sharks.
You
or some
leave
shit.
Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End out of this, okay?
I just think it's ludicrous, first of all. Secondly, I think as it went along, they stopped doing what made him funny, or what made him likeable was the fact that he was fallible, but he also didn't give a shit. Whereas as it went along, he became less fallible and also still didn't give a shit, which I wouldn't if I was also invincible.
Yeah, like the first one, he's incredibly like resourceful and sly. Whereas in the fifth one, he's magic.
Pure unadulterated magic in performance and in character.
Oh, of course. Now, I just want to clear up because someone's going to say it. You were actually referring to Dead Man's Chest earlier, and I said At World's End. I'd like to apologise.
Is that the second one?
That's the second one, yeah.
I thought I knew that. Yeah, don't even get me started on the big wheel, Sean. Do not get me started on the big wheel.
Actually, funny stuff. That big pole and that big wheel, same movie.
Same movie. I thought they doubled up. They seen one of those scenes and said, not enough. We need another one.
They took the Johnny Depp approach of do the opposite.
The studio executive said, audience don't like the two of them. Do three of them. Come on, let's keep going.
Oh, we can do wheels all day, boy.
Oh, I'm on a big wheel for 40 minutes. Whole second act. So that's Johnny Depp coming out talking about Jack Sparrow. I think that's not even news, but I just think it's funny that was his idea for that character, and also you can definitely see that as the movies go on, that plan got worse.
It really did.
Yes, so we're finishing off this week's Movie Monday show with the big news story, and this is involving Spider-Man 3. Now, the last few weeks we've been covering a lot of Spider-Man 3 news, and this week the big news is that Benedict Cumberbatch, or Doctor Strange, will return as the character in Spider-Man 3. He's reportedly joining the cast of the film. Sean, what are your thoughts on this?
This is interesting, okay? Now, kind of... Okay, so Peter Parker in these movies always has a mentor, but then spoilers, yes. Tony Stark is gone. Where is he? No one's quite sure.
No, it's up in the air.
It is up in the air. It's like dust in the wind.
It's like dust in the wind, yeah.
But Doctor Strange could be an interesting foil for Peter Parker. You know, like cynical, miserable Doctor Strange versus optimistic, helpful Peter Parker.
It's also, like, he is also in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, so maybe Doctor Strange is going to be an even bigger character moving into the next phase of Marvel movies. They're probably maybe looking to him to become the Robert Downey Jr. character, in a weird way, because he is ultimately the most powerful being, really. Like, you've seen it in Thor Ragnarok. Like, he's just, at this point, he's so powerful that he can kind of do anything, which makes it harder for him to be anything other than a mentor to the lesser characters. So Spider-Man is like, I'm having trouble on the ground. Like, Doctor Strange could clearly solve that in 10 seconds, but it's more fun if he's mentoring other people.
Yeah, between the combination of Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch that we're getting in the next coming movies and series, you unlock a whole lot of fucking doors into weird shit you can do.
For example, Sean, I'm just going to throw some out here. What about the Multiverse of Madness? Maybe that causes something to do with, or Scarlet Witch might maybe break the universe down, which causes Electro to go from the Amazing Spider-Man universe into the MCU. Possible.
Very possible. Now,
and Benedict Cumberbatch turns up as I've been looking for the source of this, disruption in the universe, and it's coming from Electro, and that makes him meet Spider-Man.
Yeah, now my thing about that is Jamie Foxx has said he's not going to be blue in this one.
Okay.
So it might be a different Electro, but I totally see your logic. I like the idea that, there's a Jamie Foxx character in every universe, and they always become Electro, and it's just different versions of him.
That's very Spider-Man. That Spider-Man always becomes Spider-Man in that universe. You could say the same about the villains.
Yeah. Now, what I was thinking is that they could, in Multiverse of Madness, right, they could do the Brand New Day storyline, where Spider-Man trades his relationship for his identity through a deal with the devil. And,
yeah.
And then... while Spider-Man is making a deal with the devil, Wanda, who Doctor Strange has rescued since the events of WandaVision, makes a deal for 2 shards of Mephisto's soul that she uses to make her children in the comics, right? Bear with me. And then
I'm with you.
Agatha Harkness, who we see in WandaVision, reveals the witch. She reveals that the kids aren't real. They're shards of Mephisto's soul. And then Wanda, in anger, erases all mutants. Now, she could bring mutants in this universe.
Yeah. Jesus. But if you get into that, do you think cinema audiences are ready for Mephisto and devil parts and souls of the devil being turned into children?
Maybe not, but we are also getting Moon Knight. And
True.
Him and Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider and the lads, they're all the Midnight Suns, and they fight Mephisto. So you set Mephisto up as like, you have the science-y, fiction-y bad guy with the Avengers, and then you have the magic bad guy for Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and everyone, and Spider-Man's the bridge between the two.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man could be the bridge between a lot of things. And also, with this inclusion of Doctor Strange, I think that's a good idea. That where do you go from Thanos? You go to the actual devil, I suppose. Like, who's one up on Thanos?
Yeah.
The devil, maybe, as a villain?
Yeah, if we're talking, like, possible villains and other dimensions, actually, as well. Because Doctor Strange, then, could technically open a portal to the negative zone, which is where Annihilus lives.
Oh, no. Oh, shit. So, like, if you have the multiverse of madness, though, like, it might be more obvious that, yeah, as you said, Scarlet Witch will just start fracturing walls, separating alternate universes and timelines, which probably makes it maybe weaker, which might make it easier for Mephisto to come true.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mephisto and maybe Electro. Or Annihilus, or the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, if the walls are weaker, if all the universes are weaker and all the timelines are fractured because she's just going mental, it might be an easier way to bring in the Fantastic Four from a different universe. Like, what the fuck is this? They come in the Fantastic Car. Like, wow.
Or, you're going Fantastic Car right off the bat.
Straight off the bat, they drive in on it. And they drive in, and then you have to have the scene where, like, I think we took the wrong left turn. And then they
Johnny.
fuck off.
Then they leave.
Oh, Jimmy Bell.
And actual Kevin Feige pops up and says, "That's all you're getting, dickheads."
No, you're done. You're part of the MCU. Fuck off.
I'm very excited about this, but also a little confused, and I think that's a good way to be. I don't want to know where the story is going exactly.
Yeah, I think this is a great, like, there's a lot of questions going into this Spider-Man movie, and the more you hear about it, the more you start thinking, like, with WandaVision and Doctor Strange being added to this, there's a lot of steps going in between to set up just, like, a fucked up universe that I don't think normal audiences would be aware of, but all the stepping stones are now there that they're going to go full mental with the next phase.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, because how long were the phases in 1 to 3? They were like 3 or 4 years each?
4 years each, yeah. So 2008, 2012, 2012 to 2016, 2015. Yeah, around 3 or 4 years. So,
like, that's a lot of dimension breaking and dimension hopping and character introduction to happen in 4 years of movies, and we're already a year in and we're falling behind.
But you have Disney Plus now, though.
That is true.
If they go heavily at Disney Plus, they could set up so much for a lot of people. Now the problem with that is not many people are going to watch. Not everyone is going to watch Disney Plus, so you have to also make it make sense in the films, but that the series enhance your viewers or your viewership if you're watching both.
Yeah, that's a tough balance. That is a tough balance to strike. Look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't think Kevin Feige has it in him. He doesn't even know what to do with the Fantastic Four and the car.
And we're getting a Blade movie.
We are, actually, and that would involve vampires, which, I mean, the devil could be in that one.
Yeah, fucking give me a fucking vampire movie. And Judy and humans again.
I think there's going to be a lot of weird, fucked up shit. I think Phase 4 could be the most mental phase. Like, the rest of them are all kind of streamlined.
Yeah, but, like, Connor, we haven't even discussed the Eternals.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. I forgot about the Eternals. Like, once you actually write down everything that they're planning, like, I'm looking at this thinking, there's no way they're pulling this off. Like, there's no way you pull this off and make it, I don't know, digestible. All of this.
There has to be a weak link somewhere, and hopefully it's one of the franchises I don't care about.
Yeah, and I hope it's not Spider-Man 3, because I think Tom Holland is perfect in that role, and I think him and Cumberbatch have really good chemistry in a weird way. Like, they only had like maybe a 30-second scene in Endgame. Or no, that wasn't Endgame, that was Infinity War. But it's just like, oh, we're using our made-up names. But even that shows the difference where Doctor Strange is like really serious and Spider-Man is Spider-Man.
Exactly, yeah. And also on the press tour, like they're good friends. Like they're just Benedict Cumberbatch is just looking after Tom Holland.
Yeah, wasn't Cumberbatch sent with him so he wouldn't spoil anything?
Yeah, like, there were moments in interviews he stopped Tom Holland just being like, I'll take this one.
You know what Tom's like? You know, we go to spit. Tom, I'll take this one. Just really quickly, Tom, just please shut up. Please.
Just fucking, it's both of our jobs at this point.
So that is it for this week's Movie Monday, Shaun. Do you want to take us out?
Yeah, it's been quite the week, but thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Movie Mondays. We will be back on Wednesday with Weird News Wednesday, Friday with Hero or Zero, and next Monday with another episode of Movie Mondays. Big thank you goes out to all of our patrons over on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast.
Imagine getting the Patreon wrong. Imagine that. I would never.
Yeah. It's been an affront to God himself. I'm sorry. So yeah, big thank you goes out to Waffles Williams, Ciara Lawler, David Clarke, Ed Ball, Joe Burney, Ray Ging, Roisin Hally, Ryan Evanson, Shaun Jamieson, Dominic and Josiah Green. Thank you all so much for your continued support. We really do appreciate you giving us the price of a coffee a month, and it really helps out more than you know. But yeah, best way you can ever support a show, anyone, is to tell one human being that we exist.
Just a one?
Just a one. Maybe give us a like and a review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Or you can email us, heroesforhire_@outlook.com, if you have any questions. And we're on all the social medias. They're all linked below. And my throat is killing me. Not for the usual reason, not for the COVID reason.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I had a lot of sand.
Fucking hell. I'm just watching him trying to segue out with this. I'm listening going, oh, this is getting a dig up, stupid.
Oh, my, oh God. Bye.
Ciara Lawler.
I'm sorry.